All right, let's dive into the battlegrounds of Elder Scrolls Online because we need to talk about something that haunts pretty much every support player out there. Why does healing in PvP sometimes feel, well, impossible? It's like the job description changed overnight from being a strategic artist to just a frantic button masher trying to keep people alive. So let's break down what actually happened. Look, if you've ever tried to heal in Deal or a battleground, you know this feeling deep in your bones. You're doing everything right, you've got your heal over time spells covering the whole team, and then, poof, your buddy just vanishes. Their health bar goes from 100 to 0 in like the blink of an eye. What is going on there?
And yeah, this quote, it just nails it. The whole PvP world in ESO got taken over by these builds that are designed to do one thing and one thing only: dump such an insane amount of damage so fast that it just deletes you from the game. We're not talking about a slow burn here. We're talking about instant, pure annihilation.
And that's what everyone started calling the one-shot meta. It's this style of combat where you don't win by carefully chipping away at someone's health. Nah, you win by just completely erasing it before they can even push a button. It stopped being a chess match and turned into a lightning-fast reflex test. And this, right here, is the absolute heart of the problem for healers. I mean, think about it. The game has a global cooldown of 1 second between your abilities. 1 second. But if someone can die in less than half a second, how in the world are you supposed to react to that? The basic math of the game started to work against you. So you gotta ask, how do we even get here?
Well, this wasn't some accident. It was actually a result of a really big shift in how the developers were designing abilities. If you look at the updates over the years, you see this clear pattern. They started moving away from damage over time effects and leaning hard into these front-loaded, super high-impact skills. And a perfect case study for this is the Dragon Knight.
Okay, so take the Dragon Knight Searing Strike. The old version was your classic damage over time spell. It did its thing over a nice long 20 seconds. But the new version? Whoa! They cut the duration in half, down to just 10 seconds, but cranked the damage per second up by 50% to make up for it. So it does the same total damage, just twice as fast. And that is a massive, massive spike in pressure.
And it wasn't just this one ability, not at all. This Dragon Knight change was basically a preview for a trend we saw across the whole game. Ability durations got shorter, the raw damage per second got way higher, and the whole focus of a fight shifted from this long war of attrition to just hunting for that one perfect, devastating combo. And this created a whole new world that healers were just not ready for. Which brings us right to the crisis point. This is that exact moment where the traditional way of healing, being proactive, just slammed headfirst into the new reality of instant burst damage. The old tools, the ones we relied on, they just stopped working. See, for years, the absolute foundation of PvP healing was the heal over time or the hot. You'd keep things like radiating regeneration ticking on all your allies, just proactively keeping everyone's health bars full. It was smart, it was strategic, and it rewarded good planning. Now, your other main tool is the burst heal. This is your oh crap button, right? It's that expensive, instant heal you use when someone is about to die. It was always there for sure, but it was supposed to be for emergencies, not your main way of doing things. So this is where it all falls apart. When your teammate takes like 30,000 damage in the span of a single second, your little hot that's ticking away for 2,000 health, it's like trying to put out a forest fire with a water pistol. It's just completely and utterly overwhelmed. That slow, steady healing that used to be the gold standard, it became almost worthless against these insane damage spikes. So what do? Well, healers had to make a choice, adapt or become totally useless. And to fight burst damage, they had to start using burst healing. This meant they had to completely tear down their old builds and rethink everything, right down to their most basic stats. Back in the day, it was simple. The best stat was % healing done, period. It made your HOTS more powerful, which meant you got the most healing for your magicka. It was all about being efficient and lasting through a long fight. But in this new meta, efficiency doesn't mean a thing if your target is already dead. The only thing that mattered anymore was creating the single biggest, chunkiest, most powerful emergency heal you possibly could. You had to have something that could instantly undo a one-shot combo. And this kicked off a really fascinating stat-based arms race. And this chart right here shows you exactly what happened. So as you'd expect, stacking healing done is still the best for your heal over time spells. No surprise there. But
Look at the column for burst heals. The best stat, the optimal one, is actually crit chance. A build that goes all in on critical healing produces the absolute biggest single heal possible. Sure, your other heals might be a little weaker, but that one critical burst, the one that saves a life, it becomes the most powerful in the entire game. And that right there became the entire philosophy for the modern PvP healer. It wasn't about sustained support anymore. It was about having one gigantic reactive heal that could hit like a truck and instantly rewind the damage from a burst combo. The whole job went from proactive to reactive. Now, this new world of super mobile high-burst combat, it didn't happen in a vacuum. It had real, lasting consequences for the game's balance. And in this arms race, some playstyles and even some entire classes got left in the dust. So it really makes you wonder, right? What happens when a class whose whole identity is built one way is suddenly forced to play in a meta that demands the complete opposite? Well, for the answer, we just have to look at the tragic story of the Templar healer. The Templar used to be the healer class, the poster child for support. But its whole kit is designed around standing your ground. Skills like rune focus and cleansing ritual, they force you and your team to stand still in one specific spot. And in a matter where moving is everything, standing still is basically a death sentence. Even its ultimate, the rite of passage, it makes the healer channel while moving super slow, basically painting a giant kill me now sign on their back for everyone to dogpile. When it comes down to it, the Templar's design is it's a relic from a different time, from a slower, more tactical version of PvP. When every single fight is decided in a matter of seconds by players zipping all over the place, a class built to stand still and provide sustained healing, it just can't hang. So did burst damage really ruin healing? Well, not exactly. It didn't make it impossible, but it absolutely forged it into something completely new, and a lot of people would say something a lot less strategic. That thoughtful chess match of applying HOTS and managing resources got replaced by this frantic, reactive scramble for survival, where your only real job is to have the biggest panic button on the field. And that kind of leaves us with one final big question. When an entire fight, and someone's survival, is decided in a single second, has the role of the healer lost its depth? Has the art of healing just been replaced by the cold, hard science of hitting one massive critical number? What do you think?